distinguished Rotarians, honored guests, and friends joining us from every corner of the globe. My name is Tariq Durant. I'm the ADG for the digital area from Rotary District 1320. Joy to stand before you, albeit virtually, as we open the Global Rotary eClub Conference 2025. This is a momentous occasion attracting well over 450 delegates who've registered, and clearly people are joining us as we go along. To those tuning in from across the time zones, thank you for being here. Perhaps the first gathering of its size of eClubs. Your presence embodies the spirit of Rotary, service above self, transcending borders, languages, and screens. Let us begin by recognizing the tireless efforts of our organizers, volunteers, and Rotary leaders who have envisioned this gathering. These include Narek Bido, District Governor, Rotary District 1320, Scotland South; Martin Brocklebank, Chair of the Rotarian eClub Fellowship; and Brian Carmichael, Secretary of the Rotarian eClub Fellowship. As well as behind the scenes, the wizards, Rotary Brian Reynolds and Eddie Higgins, will keep us in the straight and narrow. We are indeed privileged to have a galaxy of distinguished keynote speakers whose insights will ignite our collective imagination. Let us learn from them, recognize novel ideas, identify opportunities that would benefit our own clubs, for innovative projects, for enhancing membership, and for international collaboration. Today, we are not just attendees, we are catalysts for change. The Rotary theme of innovating service, connecting humanities could not be more timely as we navigate a world shaped by rapid technological advances, climate urgency, and social inequity. Rotary's mission remains steadfast to create lasting change through innovation and compassion. The E in our eClub stands not just for electronics, but for empathy, engagement, and empowerment. In terms of global challenges and Rotary's role, clearly we are in a position where this conference offers a laboratory for ideas. Share your stories on digital literacy, program connecting rural youth, telemedicine projects, saving lives, or AI-driven solutions for sustainability. May I take this opportunity once again to thank you all for attending, and let us leave this conference not just inspired, but equipped, ready to innovate, serve, and unite. Together, we are Rotary, a force for good, today and always. Thank you, and let the conference begin. May I now invite our colleagues to have the video message from Rotary International President Stephanie Urchik online. Thank you.
Hello, family of Rotary. It is my honor to send you goodwill and good wishes from Rotary leadership and all across our Rotary family. Rotary offers people of action a chance to connect and find belonging, and fellowship gives us the potential to improve our communities and the world. By following Rotary's action plan and helping make sure all members feel a sense of belonging in their club, you have a special opportunity to inspire members to new heights of service. Our ability to create lasting change begins with our family of Rotary. Together, it is within our power to bring healing in a divided world. Join me in making Rotary a source of inspiration within and beyond our membership. Let this be the year we harness the magic of Rotary, and let Rotary be known as an organization that takes care of its members as well as the people we serve.
Over to you, Narek.
Thank you. Thank you. Fellow Rotarians, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. I believe we have people from different parts of the world joining us. My name is Narek Bido, and I am the District Governor of Rotary International District 1320 in Scotland. On behalf of the digital area of District 1320 Scotland South and the Rotarian eClub Fellowship, It is my absolute pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this special international conference. This is a unique opportunity to come together as one global community to discuss some of the important strategic challenges and opportunities facing eClubs around the world. And it is truly wonderful to see so many of you joining us today. We are excited to be engaging with such a diverse and passionate group of Rotarians and guests. As you know, this conference is designed to focus on a range of key topics that affects eClubs everywhere. One of the highlights of today's event is the opportunity to hear from some exceptional speakers. We are very fortunate to have a lineup of high caliber individuals who will share their knowledge and expertise on important topics such as increasing and sustaining membership, enhancing community involvement, strengthening collaboration and partnership, and working and finding innovative ways to fund our projects and initiatives. These are all areas that play a vital role in ensuring the sustainability and the growth of our clubs, and ultimately our ability to serve our communities. The insight you will gain from today's presentation are designed not only to provide practical examples, but also to inspire creative thinking and out-of-the-box approach. Our hope is that you will leave this conference with new ideas, renewed energy, and a stronger commitment to your own eClub's growth and impact. It is important to note that the presentations you will hear today aren't the only way of doing things. They are meant to spark ideas and encourage you to think differently. The world is constantly evolving, and Rotary needs to continue evolving with it. As eClubs, we are uniquely positioned to embrace digital tools and modern methods that can help us connect, collaborate, and serve more effectively. So as you listen today, I truly encourage you to think creatively about how you can apply these ideas to your own clubs and find ways to work together with others, both inside and outside Rotary, to expand our reach and impact. Following the presentations, we will have an opportunity for quick-fire question and answer session. We will do our best to answer as many questions as possible within the time we have, but please remember, this session is focused on questions, not comments or personal opinions. So please think about any specific questions you'd like to ask, and our team will facilitate this session to ensure it runs smoothly and efficiently. Beyond the presentations and the Q&A sessions, I truly hope that this conference will also offer something even more valuable, a space for reflection, connection, and collaboration. This is a time for us to pursue and think about our work as Rotarians, to consider how can we improve, adapt, and become more effective in our mission. I hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity to connect with fellow Rotarians from across the globe, learn from another experience, and find new ways to support each other's effort. We are all part of a vast interconnected family, and today we have the chance to broaden our fellowship and friendship, both locally and internationally. As you know, we have few expectations and guidance to help ensure that this eConference runs as smoothly as possible. You will have already received the registration pack, which includes a very nicely designed table outlining the key points of eConference etiquette. However, for those who may not have seen that document, please allow me to quickly review these points to make sure everyone is on the same page. First, please keep your microphones muted during the presentations and the Q&A session to prevent any background noise, and only unmute yourself when invited to speak by the facilitator. Please update your video screen with your name, club name, and country. You can do this by right-clicking your name on the video screen and selecting Rename from the drop-down menu. Please refrain from using the chat function to ask questions. We have over, I guess, 150 number of participants, and that number might grow. So it will be impossible to keep track of all questions. But we encourage you to use the chat to share contact information, network with others, and contribute your thoughts on topics being discussed. The chat will be collated after the conference, and we'll use that feedback to inform our planning for future events. The Q&A session will take place after the presentations, and our Q&A master will introduce the procedures at that time. Please remember once again that the Q&A is space for asking questions, not for sharing personal opinions or comments. This will ensure that we keep the session focused and productive. Following the conference, we will send out a link for you to provide your feedback and ask any additional questions and share your thoughts. Your input will be very valuable to us and will help us shape future events. Please remember that the conference is being recorded and live streamed. So please be mindful of your body language and what is visible on the camera. If you do not wish for your video to be shown, please feel free to turn off your camera at any time. If you are using video, please make sure that the light is in the room is facing you and not coming from behind you. And also please be mindful of your background. We want to keep the environment professional and appropriate. I will be posting soon a background image in the chat that you're welcome to download and use. Alternatively, you can blur your background or use another image of your choice. If you find yourself in need to eat or drink for medical or any other reasons, please turn off your video until you are finished. And lastly, if you are alone and have a medical condition that might require assistance, please do not hesitate to share your name, email address, home address, and phone number on the chat with the host, so we can respond quickly if any unusual symptoms arise. Once again, I want to express my sincere thanks for your participation in this conference. The organizing team has worked tirelessly to ensure that today will be both educational and enjoyable, and I'm confident that the ideas shared today will help strengthen your vocation as Rotarians and deepen the connections that bind us all. We are in this together, and together we can continue to grow, serve, and make a real difference in our communities and the world. Now it is my utmost pleasure to introduce Tom Gump, the aide to the Rotary International President for 24-25, the chair of the RI Membership Growth Committee for 25-26, and RI Director for 26-28. Tom will be chairing and facilitating the first part of this conference. Tom.
Thank you very much, Narek. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with all of you today. As I was saying, we have two sessions, 4 speakers in each, and then we'll have questions at the end at approximately 9 o'clock your time, Martin. So first, we're going to get right into the meat of what we're going to do today. And I want to first start by introducing Lynette Stassen, who will be our first speaker. Lynette is married to Quiz Stassen, who is also Rotarian, and she is blessed with 2 children and 3 grandchildren. She had a career in engineering and was the first woman in engineering at South African Airways. She has a master's in business and is now retired. She has been a Rotarian for 20 years in South Africa and Angola. She has served in various clubs and district positions, including twice being a club president. She served as district governor, and while she was district governor, she chartered the first eClub in District 9350. She is currently the executive secretary for the Rotary eClub of Greater Cape Town. So welcome, Lynette.
Oopsie. Hello, fellow eClubbers. Rotary research constantly shows us that members join to positively impact their communities and for friendship and fellowship. They stay, however, for the same reasons, to positively impact our communities and for friendship and fellowship. I believe eClubs have a huge advantage through their global connections to really make a community impact and to create lasting friendships. So let's have a look at how to tackle community projects, focusing on 2 key aspects: the need for a project and your partners. takeouts from our early childhood development cluster project. Now, clusters are simply groups of members in close proximity or sharing a cause-based passion. The identity of the need here, Rota actors helped at an early childhood development. We listened to them and the teachers, but we went to the site. We inspect, you do a walkthrough. You look at this beautiful old 100-year-old building in a state of total collapse. A second need identified was, however, more important, and that's the educational level of these preschoolers. A solid foundation was needed to equip them for primary school. Now, how do you get passionate partners? We were so blessed to have a passionate partner in the eClub of Hamburg Connect in Germany. Their focus, we heard, was ECD and Rotaract involvement. A lot of fun fundraisers were done, not going into it, except we had online wine tasting, same wines in 4 different countries and in about 30 places. The next is the takeouts from a district-wide project. Everyone has wheelchair needs, and it's a favorite project for many clubs. Unfortunately, many wheelchairs are not fit for the recipients. Size, weight, wheels, special needs, as you can see. Our eClub has a champion who goes the extra mile on this. She has a system that identifies needs, that look at the types of wheelchairs available, and she makes sure she gets passionate partners. The passionate partners are the district clubs. There we get about 300 wheelchairs every year, and they are our distribution vehicles. So through the Rotary Action Group Hurley and the UK Wheelchair Foundation, a partnership in cost sharing and up-to-date wheelchair models bring a lot of tears, but tears of joy and smiles to these recipients. The takeout from this project is on community upliftment. This need was to empower vulnerable women. Previously incarcerated women need a hands up, not a handout. Our Cape cluster identified the need to restore dignity and respect to these women. The focus is much on mentorship and healing, but also on training and job creation. To get passionate partners, it's very, very important for a wellness project, and the partners are crucial because it's not an easy project. But the empathy and the time that this cluster put into this project resulted in a lot of laughter, a lot of happiness, and these dedicated women became from vulnerable to empowered. And now they are looking at making this a business. Giving hope to communities, handing out Smiles projects. Now these, I call them Smiles projects because they are out there. We as Rotarians just need to grab them. There are charity divisions of companies that love to work through Rotary, and they need vehicles to do their community projects. All we need to do is to make sure that we get their generous donations to those in need of it. So find the need and meet the need. To give you a quick look over 5 of these giving projects that you can maybe get some ideas from. In winter, there's always a need for tracksuits, shoes, blankets. Local shops help a lot for that if we go and ask. The Playful Learning project is my favorite. We got 3,000 Lego kits for free as building blocks on early learning. It went to 60 plus schools through Rota actors, through our club members, through other clubs. And it went to 3 countries. It went to Angola, Namibia, here, and even further down South Africa. We included schools not often thought about, like the deaf schools, the autistic schools. And I want to tell you one story. I got a call from a mom of one of the older boys at the autism center, but she was crying a lot. And then she laughed, and then she cried again. And she said to me, her unresponsive older boy there built a meter-high 3D rocket of Lego, very complicated. And he was so concentrating and laughing and making fun noises when she came in that she looked at him and she thought, the first time that she sees him in many years, that he looks as if he's alive. The last one here is the Bikes for Rural Schools. Again, lovely 600 brand new bicycles that we got from America. And we use them for various uses at schools. At the deaf school, they keep them for weekend deaf children that stay in. Another school used it for a traffic center where they taught the children all the traffic signs. There were prizes at different schools. Rota Act used them extensively for their projects. And the sad thing for me is, that's why I think need is so important. Another club in our town, very close by, also got 600, with 2 consignments. They gave it to one school that they were not sure what to do with it, and it stayed there for quite a while. My last slide is 18 July Mandela Day, a day dedicated to service. And this is my heart project and our club's project. Once a year, every eClubber decides on a project. 67 minutes, Nelson Mandela was 67 years in jail, community outreach in their own country, their own project, their own time. Whether it's reading to the elderly, whether it's going to a school of severely disabled, whatever it is, everyone does something for 67 minutes, giving together worldwide on 18 July. And that is the magic of our eClub, who's been chartered on Mandela Day, the 18th of July. I trust these examples of eClub community projects with passionate partners and real needs inspire you to become wizards and create magic in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. That was very inspiring, and I think we all have wonderful ideas to take back to our eClub. Rushton Hurley has worked all over the globe as a Japanese language teacher, school principal, school improvement consultant, and speaker on innovation, especially in the areas of learning and communication. He is Director of Innovation at the Juniper Serra High School in San Mateo, California, and also directs the educational nonprofit called Next Vista for Learning. He holds master's degrees in education and East Asian studies from Stanford University. He is the author of 3 books and talks on writing and inspiration, and especially creativity. Rushton has been a Rotarian since 2004, a member of the San Antonio Downtown Club, which at one time was the world's largest club. He's also been a member of the Rotary Club of Santa Clara, the Rotary eClub of the Southwest USA, one of the first online clubs in Rotary, and now he's a member of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. So I will turn it over to Rushton.
Thanks, Tom, and hello, everybody around the world. How fun it is that we get a chance to share ideas together. How many of you are excited at just wave at the screen, if so, excited at the thought of being with other eClub Rotarians, right? I know I go to a lot of meetings and I think, well, there you go, right? So those kinds of moments are certainly part of what we experience, and that's fine. So my focus is on distinctive service and the idea that what we can do as members of Rotary is bring something new and exciting to the possibilities of service. And a quick shout out to Shags and to Lisa, both of whom are in my club, and send out big hugs your way. If I missed any other members of our club showing up and didn't call your name, I love you too. Now, I am the Director of Design-Led Innovation at a high school, Junipero Serra High School in San Mateo, California. A position I got, by the way, in part because I could speak to my experiences in Rotary and with connections around the world. That is something that we as eClub people understand very easily, that we have the chance to share ideas and make things happen with people all over the planet. Rotary is like that. Rotary gives us the opportunity to see all kinds of new possibilities in our communities and in ourselves. So when you think of the different ideas that are a part of what comes to you related to Rotary, for me, I'll tell you this: innovation stories and projects are the kinds of things that stand out. I think that these are things that have all found expression in my eClub, one that I'm very proud to talk about. The Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley is an online, asynchronous, weekly, fellowship-loving, service-oriented, actual Rotary club. The whole actual Rotary club part was a bit more of an argument before COVID, if you know what I mean. But the real word here that I think people need to zero in on is asynchronous. It's a model of eClubs. There are so many kinds of eClubs, and ours is one where we post our meetings on Monday morning, and they're available until Sunday night so that a member can come anytime during the week, go through the stuff we have collected, and take in the program and the message from the president and all sorts of different pieces. That's part of what we do, is bring another level of flexibility to Rotary. So if what we have is a very different model, then what does that mean for who we are and how we do service? Well, as a global club, I will say that there are things that we have the chance to do, and also challenges that we face that I'd like to speak to. The fellowship challenge of an asynchronous club is obvious. One of the ways we deal with it is doing what we call coffee with a Rotarian. And we get randomly paired with each other, and once a month you get to talk with somebody and say, hey, what have you been up to? And like, how are things in your part of the world, and things like that. We also do a lot of traditional service. That's not quite the point of my presentation today, but we do it because that is something that energizes any Rotarian, that chance to improve your community, to make life better for others. We do things like highlight the cool work of students in different parts of the world and the things that they are doing to make their communities better. We have a global grant focused on a school in rural Ethiopia. That it too is a more typical approach to service, perfectly fine. And let's shift into things that are a little different so that I can speak to them very much from the eClub perspective. Twice a year we have larger programs, one which has to do with fighting cancer, another which has to do with ending hidden hunger. And in both cases, our people who are local to the event can come to them. Our people who are in other parts of the world have the chance to do things like share messages, encouraging those they know who are fighting cancer, talking about efforts in their community to address hunger, and to donate to causes that we think are important. It's part of a fundraiser / service effort that we do. Hidden hunger, if you don't know what that is when people have enough to eat, but there is so little nutritional value in what they eat that malnutrition and stunting become common in the community. So what we were able to do in this project with an organization called Sanku, S-A-N-K-U, is help add doses of nutrients to what is happening in mills, flour mills in towns in Tanzania, so that their community will have fortified flour in order to make the food they need in order to grow up healthy. So we're going to be helping 10,000 people across two small towns over the next 10 years as a result of the work we did last fall. We also have mini grants, this idea that you can tell members, no matter where they are in the world, to identify a good cause, connect with another Rotary club or another group, and we can work together to then do a small-scale grant from our club to that cause. It's part of how we engage our members, to get them engaged in what we see as our possibilities for making our communities better. But I'll also say that one of the things that is most important to me as a Rotarian are the stories. That thing that we hear and makes us think, I can do more. I can do something that I didn't think I could do before. Those stories are so important. The story of Sanku was one. We had a speaker join us from Australia, a guy who has done all this work in Eastern Africa in order to do the kind of work I described for Hidden Hunger. It's that connection with speakers all over the world, recording those stories so that they're available to anyone, anywhere, that is a part of what I think is so exciting about online Rotary. Last year, we also talked with Sarika Kanwalkar in India and her organization, Rainforest Connection. Let me tell you about this organization. They put devices in the canopies of trees that are solar powered. They listen to the sounds of the forest in order to identify species, as well as the sounds of things like trucks and gunshots and chainsaws, so that the good guys can do something about the people who are the bad guys in rainforests. We also have heard from Kemp Gregory of Renewal, where all kinds of idle wells across the United States, idle oil wells across the United States, are being repurposed in order to be batteries for electricity that's been generated through wind and solar power. It's a wonderful use of a dormant resource. And that innovation in terms of what we can then help other people understand is a part of what's exciting about being in Rotary now. Think about the coolest projects you know. What are those projects that you would tell others? When you are sitting down with a neighbor and talking about the world around you, I heard about this group that's changing idle oil wells into battery storage. What are those stories that you would tell people so that they say, where'd you learn about that? Well, it would be my Rotary Club. That's the kind of thing people need to hear. And especially if you have friends who are spending time in the hospital, for example, where they're just desperate for somebody to come by and visit. If they knew that there was an online Rotary opportunity to take in a message of encouragement and inspiration, how well would that help them in terms of what they're doing, trying to recover from surgery or illness or things like that? I am personally into to what we can do to better education in innovative ways. I'm involved in a grant that we spearhead around wildfires, which is especially important in the world now. The kinds of things that have happened in Canada and Australia and China and Greece and here in California and so many other places. If you're interested in wildfire, please be in touch with me about these kinds of things. I'm going to throw a link in the chat over the next few moments that will get you to our podcasts. So we have these beautiful, wonderful stories from all over the world collected as podcasts so that you can listen to them on your way to work or while you're on a treadmill or staring at the sky, whatever it might be. You can find our club at SiliconValleyRotary.com, or even better, at Rotary.cool. Yes, that will get you to my Rotary Club. Proud of that, I am. And you can also reach out to me at rushton@gmail.com. I would love to be in touch with you. I hope that you are excited about the ideas you get today. Lynette's story about the playful project and the Legos and the young man who built the rocket are the kinds of things that inspire me. And I hope we will all walk away today with all kinds of smiles on our faces and warmth in our hearts from what is possible when we're part of a group like Rotary.
Well, Rushton, that was a great presentation, and some of the coolest projects I've seen around the world are the ones you talked about today, and Lynette's as well, so that's great. Now we're going to go back to Chad. You've already had an intro of Chad, but Chad is our favorite Oregon resident who is from the Rotary eClub of Willamette Valley, and he's going to talk to us, and then we'll be back soon.
So it's great to be with you. Just for posterity's sake, it's Willamette Valley. But it's great to be with you all. Again, apologies for my technological ineptitude. My name is Chad Campbell. I am the president of the Rotary Club of Southern Scotland. I am in Oregon. However, we have members in 8 different countries, 5 different continents. It's an amazing group that comes, of course, with inherent challenges regarding fundraising, but amazing opportunities as well. And that diversity of membership is one of our great strengths. And I'm going to share with you just a couple of things that we've done over the years to raise funds with distanced members. And they've been reasonably productive fundraising initiatives. We have helped raise about 500 children off of a dirt floor in a school in Tondwe, Malawi. into desks. So they have got cleaner, safer, better learning environment. And as a bit of a side benefit, we're also reinvesting funds into the local economy because the desks are locally made. We have initiated a fundraising activity to provide books to the library of the school. We just recently raised some funds to repair a borehole for drinking water at the school. We've helped build a bridge so that several thousand students every day can get over a river safely to the school and back to their homes. And we're working on a food project to sustainably provide meals to these students during the hunger months. And all this is accomplished in a very simple and sustainable way with simple electronic greeting cards housed on our club website. We have a variety of different cards for a variety of different occasions. We encourage our families, and friends, and colleagues, people that we know, fellow Rotarians, to simply log onto our website, select the card, to send it to whomever, and then there's a PayPal button. And you can click on the button, allocate as much as you wish, and then designate to which initiative you wish to provide those funds. It's a very simple and frankly low-tech thing, but it has worked over the years. We also do fun stuff, such as virtual runs and bike rides. In this particular instance, we did a run for reforestation in Zomba, Malawi. We raised funds for the reforestation, run for trees. To our left, we have lovely Carla with her family in Munich participating in the run. And then the guy to the right with the world's worst face mask, that happens to be me. I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun to do a 10K or a half marathon, raise money for a worthy cause through your Rotary Club, and know that your Rotary friends from around the world are participating with you. And I love that fundraising component, but I also love the global community and that connectedness that Rotary provides. More to that point, we have our lovely Shona here, who just recently raised some funds running a half marathon at the Singapore Marathon just recently. The Big Blue bike ride for cancer research, of course, we all know. The item on the left, the Little Princess Trust, I didn't know about that until I joined this club. But it's a beautiful way to raise some funds and do some good. It's an ad hoc thing that anybody can do. You sign up, you donate some hair for beautiful and well-crafted wigs, and those are donated to children who need them. And along the way, you're donating funds for cancer research. So I love that innovative thing that people can do wherever they happen to be in the world. Similarly, we have raised funds through virtual balloon racing. It's a very simple thing. People log into a website, they buy as many balloons as they wish, and then the computer simulation wafts the balloons across the world in a race, and somebody will get a prize, but we'll raise some funds that way. And it's a great way to go because you can target a large number of people if you wish. Operation Bookshelf, I want to just chat about that for just a second because it's a good example of thinking imaginatively about fundraising. In this particular instance, one of our members was diagnosed with cancer, and friends wished to provide books to this newly diagnosed person, and because they knew that they liked to read, the Rotarian said, well, no, we've got enough books as it is. But let's redirect that charitable impulse. Instead of giving them a few number of books, let's get a lot of books sent to the school in Tondwe. And that's what happened. Multiple communities around the world engaged and raised thousands of dollars to provide thousands of books to this school, and their library was much enhanced. And it was a great project because it brought some people together. The books were locally sourced and done in collaboration with another club in Malawi. Very, very proud of that one. And of course, we do traditional things as well. when we're able to get together, table sales and whatnot. The picture on the bottom right, that's the District 1320 conference last year in Aviemore, Scotland. We were just selling things to conference attendees, and we're going to be doing the same thing next weekend at the district conference in Scotland. And I have to point out, the gentleman in the blue shirt, Dennis Robson, he is a man of extraordinary resources, connections, and illimitable energy. And a lot of what we do is done and inspired and made possible by Dennis. So Dennis, you're the man. So, you know, very simple things that we do in our relatively small but global eClub. The electronic greeting cards, simple and sustainable way to generate cash flow, and those funds can be easily directed to whatever initiative you have in mind. Virtual runs and sponsored charity runs, bike rides. They provide engagement opportunities for club members wherever they happen to be, as we do virtual balloons. We do the in-person conventions, Hall of Friendship type things. Little Princess Trust provides beautiful wigs for children while serving as a fundraiser for cancer research. Just very simple, straightforward things that allow for engagement wherever you happen to be. And that's the point, looking forward, being enthusiastic and optimistic about it. Have fun. You know, it should be a fundraiser. So the club members want to participate. There's you know, we all understand the concept of economic growth. The same thing applies to enthusiasm among your membership and their desire to contribute. So make it fun, make it enjoyable, make it something to look forward to, not a duty. Keep it simple, keep it imaginative and innovative. And of course, from the donor's perspective, it's got to be mission specific. They got to know where their money is going. And find ways to engage your club members wherever they happen to be. And then finally, collaborate. It's not only good from a production perspective, but it also enhances membership, retention, you know, connectiveness with other groups, other Rotary clubs, like-minded organizations, and cross-pollination of ideas. And there you go. Tom, back to you.
Well, thank you, Chad. That was excellent. You know, so many times when we're talking to individuals who want to form an eClub, they ask the question, well, we do we do projects? So of course we do projects, and it's great to hear the various different projects you are doing. You know, participant engagement, and we say participant, we don't mean just members or just Rotaractors or Rotarians. Of course, we mean everyone we serve as well. It's so important. So thank you, Chad, for sharing that with us. Now what we'd like to do is we'd like to introduce Len Poulin, who's our next speaker. And he is actually president-elect of the Rotary eClub of Innovation. I love that title of that club. Len has been a Virginia resident, business owner, and downtown property owner for the last 38 years. He was born in Massachusetts, United States, and attended the University of Massachusetts. He earned his college degree in business management. And then for 46 years, he worked in information technology industry for various companies. In '91, he left corporate America and started LBP Enterprises, Inc., which is a regional provider of value-based IT technologies. And he has clientele across the Mid-Atlantic region. He operated that business for 21 years and a commercial real estate company. Of course, he's active in his community of Waynesboro and oversaw the creation and management of the Virginia Fly Fishing Festival and served on the Virginia Museum of Natural History. And of course, he's been an active member of Rotary International since 2021. So we'll give it to you, Len. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, everybody. It's great to see everybody here today. Let me lay out my screen here and share. Everybody seeing that okay?
Yes.
All right, and let me move this over and start the slideshow. Okay, so talking about innovating ways to fundraise in a virtual club. Virtual fundraising is not just a nice to have activity. Virtual fundraising breaks down the geographical barriers that empower our e-clubs to reach our goals. That's why we do it. So I'm going to talk about really 3 areas. What are the fundraising challenges in a virtual world for e-clubs? I'm sure we're all experiencing these things. What are the goals of fundraising? Some of this may be already academic for you, but I thought it would be good to just restate that. And how does the Rotary Club of Innovation meet those challenges? So let's talk about the challenges. So in a traditional land-based club, we would normally raise funds in a person-to-person environment, right? We'd hold galas or have a festival, that sort of stuff. What the key to these types of events is that it not only builds camaraderie among our club membership, but it also engages the community so that the community gets to be a part of it, and it'll attract local sponsors. That's a difficult challenge for e-clubs because sponsorships is a key, and it's hard for us to get there. So the next big question is how do we create community awareness? And the first question there is, who is our community? If we're an e-club, and in our club, we've got members across all continents, essentially. We're meeting, all around the world. So who is our community? And then how do we create that community awareness if we're in a virtual world? And how do we reach that community? So a land-based club, we have our Rotary wheels that are in at the entrance of our towns. There's the projects that we do, the Rotary Park, for instance, or our playground and whatnot. Even if you're not a Rotarian or you don't know what Rotary is, the people in the community know what Rotary does because we're out there, we're in the public, and people see that we're taking action. When we start asking to raise money for our projects, the community supports that because they know we're out there and we're doing good things with it. But the key thing is membership engagement, and whatever we do, it's got to be fun, right? We got to have a fun time doing this. How do we create that type of camaraderie, that engagement using an e-club that meets asynchronously as these clubs do? And what are our goals of fundraising? Well, the traditional goal, right, is to raise money for projects. This is actually a check presentation we did last year. That's myself holding the check. We raised a couple $1,000s to support organ donation, organ registration. I'm actually an organ liver donation, organ transplant recipient. So it's obviously a cause that's close to my home. This was something we raised money globally to support. We also want to we use fundraising to promote our projects or promote a project. We're really soft selling Rotary when you think about it. Our whole objective here is as we get out into the community is we're selling Rotary to that community. And we're also exposing the general public to Rotary, right? So that's why we want to do fundraising, because we can then show those that are not Rotarians what Rotary does, introduce them to the concept of service above self and people of action, and hopefully in the end game, we attract new members to our clubs. Ultimately, though, we have to define our club's overreaching purpose and objectives. And what is your club's flag on the hill? And that's the one thing that our membership and our clubs are going to gravitate to. It is also going to build support from the community, whether it's sponsor type communities or whatnot. So the Club of Innovation approaches it in basically 3 different ways. We have our direct fundraising events. This would be like our virtual auction. We just closed this particular auction. We were auctioning off jewelry. Last year we did an auction that funded the organ donation project. This jewelry auction was to support honeybee hives for a community in Nepal to support 13 widows and single moms. We also raised funds to support our micro lending program, which our club administers. So that's one of the areas that we raise funds for. This one's a little different. This is kind of more of a fellowship type of program, but it indirectly created direct revenue, and I'll explain that. During COVID, the club developed this virtual dog show concept. So for £2 per minute, you could enter your dog and do a virtual thing. It was a great way to get people engaged during that COVID lockdown. But the surprising thing that came from that is other local nonprofits contacted us and asked if they could use our technology to do their own type of virtual, name it, car shows, garden club shows, whatever. And we allowed them to license this essentially for a fee. So indirectly, we're creating direct revenue streams by lending our technology to other nonprofits who wanted to do a similar type of approach. We also have our passive fundraising events. So we also have an eClub or eCard subscription that you can join through our website. That's a 24/7 thing that you can join at any time and send as many cards as you want. We're also connected with the Easy Fundraising Program in the UK, where shoppers through these online retailers can actually direct donations for a part of their purchase to our club's charity. In the US, Amazon Smile is that same thing where you can register your charity with them and people can direct donations to you. And then we also have the Rotary Glass Giving, which is one of our members hand makes custom jewelry. We've got a link on our website. She's also got her own website, but all the revenue that gets generated here, all her net proceeds goes to fund or to get donated to the foundation. And that's a 24/7 passive type of fundraising opportunity. Then we have our fellowship fundraising. I mentioned the virtual dog show, but this one here, the Food the World Over, a couple of our members worked very diligently and collected 345 donated recipes from 223 different countries around the Rotary world. And all these recipes have been collected in a downloadable format. And for a very, suggested donation of $7.50 or £5, you can download this thing and enjoy the ability to cook, ethnic foods from all over the place. And there's some pretty interesting recipes in there. Again, that's available 24/7. That money goes towards Polio Plus. And right now we are in the midst of our annual Rotary poetry competition, where for a fee, you can submit your poetry. That's poetry will be judged, and then the awards will be given at the Rotary Convention in Calgary. This is year 2 of that. Last year, that presentation was done in Singapore. So please, if you know any poets or want to submit a poem, come on in. So, the bottom line about fundraising, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And that's the key to Rotary, right? Is service above self and people of action. So in conclusion, transitioning to a virtual club is a significant paradigm change, right? So we're used to that in-person kind of thing. For us to be effective, we've got to be innovative in how we approach that. The key to success is engaging people, and that's not just the members of your club, but your supporters, your sponsors, the general public. How do we get outside of our cocoon of our eClub and reach out beyond our club and get into the public domain so that they can see and support us? Operating virtually offers a tremendous opportunity for Rotary to be effective. It's probably one of the best opportunities for us to spread the word. But the challenge for our clubs is to recreate that camaraderie that's inherent in person-to-person interactive while we're in an electronic world. So at this stage, I think we can all agree that it's an evolutionary process for eClubs. And that's all I have. So I want to thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tom, for chairing the first session and everybody for your presentations. We were supposed to coming back from a break at this stage, but we are running a few minutes late. So we're going to honor that and allow you the time to have a proper comfort break if you would like to go for a comfort break or have a cup of tea. But we would like to see you here back exactly sharp at 10 minutes so we can continue to our second part of the conference. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, thank you. Hello once again, everyone, and I hope you all enjoyed a refreshing break and had the chance to connect with each other over the chat. I see lots of flow on the chat section. I think the presentations and the chat discussions so far have been incredibly engaging, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you back and I hope the second part will be as promising and as exciting as the first part. The next session will focus on some key themes that are vital to our collective growth and success: strengthening membership, exploring the benefits of an affiliate membership model, fostering international collaboration, and unlocking the benefits of e-fellowship forums. To kick things off, I am delighted to introduce our first speaker, Brian King. Brian is a proud member and a past president of the Rotary Club of Evanston, a Rotary Club Foundation benefactor and multiple Paul Harris Fellow. With a background in psychology and masters in anthropology and development administration, Brian began working for Rotary in 2001. And over the
over the past years, he held a number of positions within the Rotary Foundation Development Office. He is currently served as the Director, Membership Development for Rotary International, a position he assumed in December 2014. In this role, Brian leads a global team who develop and implement targeted efforts at club, district, zone, and organizational level, with the ultimate objective of strengthening each club's capacity to attract and engage a vibrant and diverse member base. In his free time, Brian coaches youth soccer and enjoys running, gardening, and most things outdoors. So, Mike is yours, Brian.
Narek, thank you so much, and good local time zone, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you all today, and thanks again to our initial speakers. I'm just inspired and have taken so many notes that I'm excited to take back to my own club. What I'd like to share with you today are just a few really practical ideas that your clubs may wish to consider to attract new members, as well as engage the valued members that are already part of your club. Now, as Narek noted in his opening remarks, the ideas shared today are by no means an exhaustive list. Some you may already be doing, but hopefully they'll provide a foundation for innovation. So today, let's just focus on a few ideas. I like to think of these as six specific steps, or think of them as the 6 spokes of our Rotary wheel, all creative ideas to contribute to eClub membership growth and engagement. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. We have very limited time together, so I just thought we'd kind of work through a couple of ideas for you to contemplate. First, this may seem obvious, but really maximize your presence on Club Finder, the way that people can find your club when they visit Rotary.org. It's important that you update the details so that people can find you. We have thousands of people coming to Rotary's website looking to participate with Rotary and find a local club. It's often a front door for you. So be aware that users can filter our Club Finder tool and isolate clubs that exclusively meet online, so they can really focus to find the clubs that serve that particular experience. And in My Rotary, you can ensure that your club details are accurate and descriptive. If you have multiple meeting options or kind of unique meeting formats, you can use an add meeting feature to list out the various opportunities for people to connect with you. So really, that's a first homework assignment I would encourage you all to take back to your clubs, to take a look at how your club is presented on Club Finder. Second spoke of membership growth. Get social, advertise on LinkedIn or the meta platforms, Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn is slightly more expensive, but not by much, than paid marketing on Facebook, but it tends to be more targeted to people looking for personal and professional connections and networking opportunities. Or on Facebook and Instagram, you can actually experiment with interest and behavior-based targeting. These are variables that can allow you to kind of narrow in and attract a very specific audience. And just a US $25 or $50 investment can go a really long way for a 1 or 2 week campaign to really reach new audiences. Third idea, work with Rotaractors and Rotary alumni. These are folks that are generally younger, perhaps not yet established in their careers and are more transient, and an eClub experience may appeal to them. It has greater flexibility, as you all know, often lower costs than many of the clubs that meet in person over a meal. And program alumni are also excellent source of speakers for your club meetings. They have incredible experiences and insights that would appeal not just to your current members, but also to those not yet a part of your club. Similarly, connect with cause-based affiliates, our Rotary action groups and fellowships. Obviously, we're all here together as part of the eClub Fellowship, but there are over 100 special interest groups that organize around a cause or a hobby where our members can come together and share that passion from all over the world. So take advantage of these to make sure your members are aware of them as an additional engagement opportunity, but also another great source of speakers for your club meetings. Speaking of club meetings, convene unique external-facing meetings and events. Mix them up a little bit. One of my favorite formats that I've observed actually positions Rotary as a true connector, a facilitator for partnership. So for a change of pace, maybe once a year or every 9 months, instead of having one speaker talk about an incredible project, many of whom we've heard from today, consider inviting 10 or 20 speakers to the same meeting. That might sound a little scary, but this could be all leaders of various nonprofits who work in a specific area or interrelated issues. And each one gets maybe just a really short allotment of time, 90 seconds, no more than 2 minutes, to essentially deliver their organizations, their mission's elevator pitch. It's a great experience for them. And it's also a great way to engage meeting attendees and have fun with it. If they go over their time allotment, play terrible music or just mute their microphone. And if they deliver in a particularly brief amount of time or a very compelling pitch, give them a prize or make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation in their honor. And through this event, again, it can be a really fun way to get your members exposed to many incredible organizations all at once, and you effectively help connect all those organizations to one another, facilitating an even greater impact than they can alone. And then in the process, you take the opportunity to deliver your own elevator pitch on Rotary to 10 or 20 prospective members all at once. It's a really, really popular, really effective club program idea. And then lastly, in the spirit of partnership, partner with Tara clubs in your area to participate in service projects. Tara or clubs that meet in person, land-based clubs, and make members aware that there are incredible club experiences out there, many of whom meet virtually. Some of those Tara clubs aren't even aware of you and the incredible experiences you can offer. And sadly, some of those club members might not be happy with their current club experience. So you have an opportunity to introduce them to a new way of doing Rotary. And as Lynette said, one of the key reasons many of us join is to do local community service. So help your members find those opportunities through local Rotary and Rotaract clubs in their community, regardless of where they live. So not only does it strengthen the engagement of the club members and increase the chances that they stay, but it's also an opportunity for other members who may not be satisfied with their own club experience to find you. So there's lots of ideas. You all have some incredible ideas of your own. I hope you're taking advantage of the chat to share those ideas with one another, and you utilize this eClub fellowship to exchange these best practices after this event. But my time's up, so now I'd like to hand things back over to Narek and continue the discussion.
Thank you, Brian, for that creative approach to strengthening and sustaining a dedicated membership to our movement, vision, and objectives. The next topic is something that some Rotarians amongst you might be familiar with through their membership of other organizations. We will be having a look at exploring the benefits of affiliate membership. And if you haven't heard that term before, we will delve into some of this, some of the aspects of this kind of scheme. Now, this is not a given subject. This is not a subject that we have discussed in depth before, but it is something that it is worth our attention. Let me share my PowerPoint first, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Excellent. Right. I have already introduced myself before at the start of the conference. I am Narek Bido. I'm the district governor for District 1320, and I am honored to say that this is my second year of governorship. I'm a member and past president of the Rotary Club of Falkirk, and have held various roles in my district, including the role of district treasurer and international team lead. My background is in psychology, Middle Eastern culture, and I am a graduate in business administration and management. And until recently, I was the CEO of a regional charity that offered people affected by addiction and underlying mental health problems, recovery support, and development. I have the passion to work because of conflict, peace, and conflict resolution and community development. And I was humbled by a recent visit in February 2025, almost 3 weeks ago, to Syria and to Lebanon to distribute food aid to families affected by the civil war and the earthquake that affected the northern parts of Syria. And that was all done through our Rotary efforts. I am glad that I am back in one piece. I'm delighted to be here with you today to be part of this conference. One thing that oops, sorry, apologies. Is this working okay? There we go. One thing that we are aware of is the incredible disparity of reports and statistics that we receive from different parts of the world about our membership situation. Over the past 120 years, Rotary has been a beacon of service, fellowship, and community impact. And in order to serve our world, our organization relied heavily and continually on its active members, smaller number of honorary members, friends, sympathizers, volunteers, as well as a limited number of very capable employed group of professionals across various offices around the world. However, as I said, in the past few years, the numbers and the trends about attracting and sustaining membership around the world has been very, very different. As you can see on that screen, we have 3 points. One showing the loss of membership, 29% in the US over the past 20 years, Australia 36%, Canada 34%, and Great Britain and Ireland 33%. Another picture, stagnation in Brazil, Mexico, and Italy, somewhere between -2 and -6%. On the other hand, in Taiwan, we had a growth of 127%, India 103%, Philippines 52%, and Korea 35%. And you will find in the bottom of that slide a reference for a document that has been published from the Department of Primary Education in Greece, a very academic document referring to the factors contributing to the Rotary International stagnant membership growth. On the right side of the screen there, you will see clubs that have been charted over the 2 years. The point that I am referring to here is that growth and decline is influenced by a combination of factors, including changing demographics, need for adaptation, modern societal trends, shifting values. Younger generation may prioritize different causes and service models than older generation, leading to a potential disconnect with traditional Rotary approach. Globalization and urbanization, these trends have altered community structures and priorities, potentially leading to increased competition for volunteers and changing the needs of local communities. Economic factors, time, financial constraint, recessions, rising in cost of living, potential members for coming to committing Rotary, especially in certain socio-economical context. We have some clubs that are struggling to effectively engage with diverse communities and adapt to modern marketing strategies. We have sometimes poor public image, Rotary's image, and perceived relevance that can influence potential members' decision. We have sometimes limited resources. Smaller clubs and districts may lack the resources that effectively promote Rotary and attract new members. Competition from other organizations, increasing popularity of online volunteering and other informal service platforms that can draw individuals away from traditional club-based organizations. More specialized services may target specific communities and causes, potentially diverting potential members away from Rotary's broader cause. Leadership issues, club environment, weak or uninspired leadership, lack of motivation to hold leadership roles, something that has been emerging over the past few years, growing an aging population of our Rotary clubs and the hesitation to take on leadership roles, club atmospheres, lack of vibrancy, inclusivity, relevance to any club to deter both current and potential members, life-changing event, personal or professional changes. Some members may feel that Rotary does not meet their needs or expectations anymore. In short, the world around us is evolving, and we also must our approach to membership should also evolve accordingly. Let us look at a model here, a conventional membership model. Fred Bloggs is a member of the Rotary Club of Falkirk, which is his mother club. He is from District 1320. He is also happens to be an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Braids, which is still within the same district. Now, that is an example. He could be an honorary member in another district. Nevertheless, the lower part of that table is relevant to Fred Bloggs' situation. He's an active member. He's paying his dues to Rotary, to the club, and to the district, and to RI. He is on the RI records as an active member, and he's on the RI records as an honorary member. He has voting rights within the club and within the district, and he has the right to hold an office within the club and within the district. And he can also be a member of a satellite club if the satellite club is within his club. Now, we all know that his financial contribution, his engagement in carrying various leadership roles, his active involvement with activities, and his, in most scenarios, his networking opportunities are all restricted and somehow limited to one club, or in some cases within one district, and might be hugely affected by his club's culture and local dynamics. Some part of our world explored various options to attract new members. For example, we have seen models of associate membership, direct membership, Friends of Rotary, as well as attempts to attract small, medium, and large business entities and corporations under the corporate and enterprise membership scheme. This is particularly active in Great Britain, Ireland, and Australia. You can also see other, in the bottom of the slide, you can also see other development of different club models: cause-based club, satellite club, passport club, eClub, alumni-based club, Rotaract club, Interact club, etc. But the reality is, when it comes down to the type of membership, a Rotarian is either an active member or not, regardless of the title and the type of the club. Now, let's explore another model. Just to measure the benefits and the challenges that we might face in such a model. This is a model where affiliate membership format can be added to the conventional model, membership model. An affiliate membership scheme is an additional membership format that allows existing active members of Club A, let's call Club A the mother club, to also join another club, Club B, as an affiliate member. That affiliate membership still gives him the full active status and enables him to be a voter, to carry a role, an active leadership role, and to contribute to dues to the Rotary international coffers. However, different models offer different things. So let's look at this. Fred Bloggs is now a member of the Rotary Club as his mother club. He is on the RI record. He is a member of the district. He is on the RI record. He has the voting right in both places. He has right to hold offices in both places and use payable in both places. As an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Braids or any other Rotary Club, he is on the RI records as an honorary member. He doesn't have voting rights. He doesn't have right to hold an office, and there are no dues. However, as an affiliate member to the Rotary Club of Evanston in District 6440, and the Rotary Club of Edina Morningside in 5950, and the Rotary Club of Beirut in 2452, he is paying a discounted dues to RI, so contributing financially to the coffers. Yet, he is also registered on the RI record as an affiliate club member. He has the right to vote within these clubs and within these districts. He has the right to hold offices within these clubs and within these districts. And he can be active in all these clubs that he's affiliated to. Now, what is the problem with this model? There is definitely a challenge, an administrative challenge that we will examine in a minute. But for Rotary, this could mean creating a tiered membership structure where affiliate members can join various clubs across the world.
We need to watch the time. We need to watch the time.
Thank you, Martin. And be able to contribute to Rotary's coffers in a sense that he will still be the same Rotarian on RI record, but he has multiple membership forms and systems. Now, I will not be able to go through too many details in regards to the challenges, but it is something that I would like us as members of various e-clubs to start thinking, because imagine a speaker like Chad, who is a member in a mother club in America, can be also a member of the e-club of Southern Scotland in his capacity and in his status as Rotarian, as Chad, rather than having to be a member of two different formats. There is quite a lot of benefits, and I'm happy to share and there are lots of organizations around the world that use this kind of fellowship, affiliate membership model. For example, the Freemasons, there is an estimated 5 million members around the world, around 900,000 of them in the US, 150,000 of them in Scotland, Ireland, and 200,000 in England, and they all use an affiliate membership in a similar model. There are some very prestigious clubs around the world that use similar models to increase their capacity and increase their efficiency. I just quote the last in the last slide that if Rotary is to realize its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at all times and revolutionary on occasions. So I hope this will give us some opportunities to explore this option, and maybe have another session that we can discuss more in depth. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce another very prominent and capable speaker. I had introduced Tom briefly at the beginning, but it is my pleasure to introduce Tom Gump again, who is a proud member of the Edina Morningside Rotary Club in Minnesota, USA. He was his club's president in 2016-17 and district governor in 2020-21. Tom is the current aide to the Rotary president, Stephanie Urchik. He is the Rotary director nominee and will be an international director in 26-28, representing zones 25 and 29. Tom is passionate about growing Rotary membership and will chair Rotary International's membership growth committee in 25-26. He is chairing the host organizing committee for 28 Rotary International Convention in Minneapolis, and his favorite part about Rotary is the friends that he makes. Tom is going to address membership development, engagement, and retention through his address. Tom.
Thank you very much, Narek. And again, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And I have been inspired to be able to participate with all of you today. And like Brian, I'm taking lots of notes, and I can't wait to share them around the world as I go to places who want to grow Rotary membership. So it's interesting. We heard a lot today about various projects that are being done within our clubs. Well, the one thing I want to talk about today is how do you find those projects? And there's various ways of doing it. But first, before we talk about how to do it, why do we want to do this? You know, when you actually have projects going on, you are having your members participate, you are seeing more in the public, and you just grow quicker when you're out doing things. Some people are attracted to join Rotary because they are doing youth exchange in their club. Some of them are attracted because they're doing water, sanitation, and hygiene projects. But when you do projects, you're more out there, more people are going to join your club. Also, having projects really regains and retains our members longer. You know, in Rotary, it's not just that we're losing people. We bring in about 150,000 every year, but then we lose about 170,000. But the scary part is when we lose them. We lose 10% within the first year of joining, and we lose over 50%, just over 50% within the first 3 years. And then after 3 years, they're like all of us, they're passionate Rotarians and they won't leave at that point. But the cause can be a magnet to draw those potential people of action in, and it keeps them around because they are working on that cause with like-minded individuals. Also, projects make your club more visible. When you're out doing things like all the projects we talked about today, people see you. It's interesting because Ukraine, since the war started, membership in Rotary has doubled in the last 3 years. And why is that? Well, you know, my club's doing a project in Ukraine right now, and we're not going there, obviously. It was a USAID Rotary partnership, and now it's a full Rotary grant. But we've had people zoom in and tell us what they're doing, and the club that we're dealing with on the ground there, they're actually learning how to be firefighters. So when a building gets bombed, they put on their suits and they go in and fight fires. When people see that, they want to join because they want to help too. And also doing projects helps you increase your partner opportunities, which also helps you grow. So growing more quickly, you know, we started eClub a few years ago called the Rotary Club of Network for Empowering Women, and we added 50 members right at the right time. How do they do their projects? Well, it's interesting because they're all over the place. We have some in Minnesota, we have some in Connecticut, we have some outside the US, and they do local projects. And then on a certain day or a certain week, then they all come back and talk about it. So that's one way an eClub can do projects. Another way is our eClub for Global Travelers. They are an eClub, like all the ones all the examples I'm talking about today, and they have all their meetings online. They started about 2 years ago. They're the fastest growing club in our district right now. And what they do is twice a year, they'll meet somewhere like Cuba and Vietnam, and they'll do an in-person service project all together that they travel to, even though their meeting's online. We have an ambassador that's in this club who always wanted to join Rotary, but he could never join an in-person club because he would be leaving every 2 years. By the time he found one and started, he would have to leave again. We have a flight attendant, and he travels a lot for business, but he's able to go online to the meetings, and then he'll go to the service projects. The other way to do it is to do projects at people's workplaces. I was interested to hear Brian's concept of bringing in 20 speakers and having them all talk for a minute or two about what they do. This group, this was the first club in the world that was formed to end human trafficking. And a majority of their members are people who actually participate in that cause for their living. They're executive directors of different kinds of entities. And they have every week when they meet a speaker that talks about what they do, whether it's removing barcodes from the back of people's necks or whether it be providing goods to a homeless shelter. So what these people do is they do projects at their work, but they come and talk about it, and they go to different workplaces and do it. Another way to do it is to partner up with other groups. We wanted to start a Rotaract club for the environment, and this was an eClub. And what we did is we called SRAG, the Rotary Action Group for Environmental Sustainability, and they gave us a list of 120 young people who some of them were cadres and they were working, but they weren't actually doing projects. And what we found out is people, especially young people, they are passionate about a cause and they want to work and put their energy towards that one cause. And younger people like the environment. So this gave us an opportunity for young people around the world who were, some of them were engineers and actually working on the environment through their jobs. Other of them just wanted to participate. But that's just another example. You can do projects with other, as Brian would call them, terror clubs. We have a veterans club who does a lot of work just serving veterans. So I am always available. Martin, everyone knows how to get a hold of me. If you want to reach out, I'm always willing to help. Thank you very much for letting me be here with you today.
Thank you so much for that Tom, the last presentation of this evening will be delivered by Martin Brocklebank. Martin will tell us about the Rotarian eClub Fellowship and the advantages of having similar forums where we can benefit from sharing existing resources and contribute to the creation of new resources. Martin lives in Norfolk, UK, with his wife Trish. In his own word, he has been traditional Rotarian and has served his district as marketing, membership, and youth chair for around 12 years before becoming a founding member of the third eClub in the UK, now called the eClub of Innovation. He is currently the chair of Rotarian eClub Fellowship Board, developing a go-to place for online clubs to share their experiences. Martin loves the online world of Rotary because of the global connections he makes. He has an international internet marketing business and spends his leisure time boating on the World Heritage site called the Norfolk Broads near his home. Martin.
Thank you, Narek. Right, I'll start my presentation now. The starting point really is I've called it a springboard for online Rotary future because I think that's what this eConference is all about. It's about providing a springboard from which we actually take and do other things. I think certainly if we look forward, then this will be the starting point for a brilliant future. Okay. So a little bit about the fellowship, and it's a fellowship in a digital age. Before COVID, I used to do talks about eClubs and things, and I was always asked three questions. What projects do you do? What fellowship? How do you do fellowship? And which real club do you belong to? And in the early days, that was more difficult to answer. But now we've got so many stories, and you've heard some of them tonight from other people. And one of the things that this experience has led me to do is when people ask me what is Rotary, I go, it's a place where we can connect, communicate and collaborate to make the world a better place or to make your local community a better place. And that rolls off the tongue quite easily for a lot of people. So I think bearing that in mind, building the fellowship is built on that sort of basis. Because we're short of time, I'll cut this as short as I can. We've really got four pillars that we use. The aim is to connect with others, to share best practices, which is what we're doing tonight, and we've done that in collaboration with District 1320. We can access resources, attend online events. If I just think about the access resources just for a moment. They can build, we can build those resources together. So members of the Rotarian eClub Fellowship can write a blog, they can develop resources and put them in and submit them, and we can add them to it. We can connect with each other for learning on best practice. We don't need to wait for me or lectors to create something and say, we've got this online event. I perceive that we can do it dynamically, really. And we are starting to use WhatsApp and possibly Slack, but WhatsApp is the most popular. So that's one way of people communicating and talking to each other. We also have a Facebook site. So if I just quickly go, we become the go-to resource, I think. And by the way, it's free to join. Resources. As an online community, there are, as we've heard tonight, many, many, many resources, and I won't go through them tonight. You can visit the website and enjoy what you see and hear. Okay, I've put this model up because when I first started the foundation of the new eClub, we found ourselves in a situation where it was, well, what is this thing called an eClub? What's this thing called an online Rotary club? What I would say is that COVID has been the best thing to happen to Rotary, because prior to that, people were going, what's these eClub things? God, they'll never take off. But after that, Emperor's new clothes, we've now got actually people going, oh, have you used Zoom? And that's from traditional Rotarians. Traditional Rotary is particularly in the same time and same place. So this model actually enables you to tease out where you put your efforts. we can have a face-to-face meetings with cluster groups. That's already been spoken, I think, by Lynette and people. So we can volunteer. We can work with other clubs locally as well. So even though we're global, well, I mean, our particular club has got 55 members in 22 countries. So, you know, we're not likely to get everybody together in one place as the same place, same time, but we can get some of that. So we know what to do with it. Again, because of time, I won't go through all the bits and pieces, but if anybody wants to actually email me or chat to me about it, then we can go through it in more detail. Different places, same time, it determines what you use in order to get the best out of your club. Likewise, with different times, and different times, different places, then again, you've got video recordings. I think Rushton mentioned asynchronous. Asynchronous sort of flows through a lot of this sort of situation. And a club intranet, we actually use one called Teams, but a lot of people are more likely to be using WhatsApp at the moment. And so it does change. And I think we need to be more flexible in our approaches and change when we need to change. Okay. I mentioned about writing a blog. Any member can write a blog. If they've got an idea, then they could just go to the blog page and write the blog and share it, and people can comment on it. And there are articles. In fact, there's quite a few from Tom Gump, in actual fact. So you'll be able to see what Tom Gump's thinking is as well. So, and RIP Stephanie. Okay. The thing that we have done, it's really just a particular interest of mine, is that the number of Rotarians that quote or misquote Paul Harris. And one of the things that there is a resource which is called the Rotarian, and we've actually got the Rotarian copies from 1910 to 2010. So there is a huge resource. It's not all online at the moment because it's, as you can imagine, it's quite a big task to build it. But if you go and visit that, you can see what to do. And anybody who wants to volunteer for it, then sign up with me, and we'll help to build that database a bit further. Okay, so my final slide really is the future of Rotary is actually now here. Using technology to advance our progress, then that's evident in everything we do, whether it's a mobile phone, whether it's a computer, whatever. So we need to embrace technology, and we can use that understanding of that by building a better Rotary online. So what I would say is visit RotarianEClubFellowship.org and sign up. It's free, so entirely up to you. Hopefully that's been of interest, and hopefully I've made some time up for people. Thank you. Back to Narek. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Martin, for that very, very useful presentation. I think it's time for me to hand it over to Brian, our Q&A master, to facilitate that session. And yes, we made up 1 minute, but I think we will be running 10 minutes late, but I think it is very exciting to hear everybody. So Brian, the mic is yours. You are muted though.
Unmuted, yeah, I've done it.
Thank you. Good to see you. There's so many of you, and quite a lot to do to answer some questions. I know you've got lots of questions. Just before we start that, we've got a quick poll. Takes less than a minute. We're going to run that poll, and in that minute, please just tell us how we're getting on.
I think we seem to be getting the solution from a previous one. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe not. They're coming in.
We've had 64 people respond to the poll so far. We'll give it another 15 seconds and then we'll close it and share the results.
Good.
Tiffany Taylor asked, how do we participate? You should have the ability to vote according to the question, Tiffany.
All the co-hosts can't actually enter the poll.
That's right.
Here we are, close the poll.
Okay, thanks. Right. Now, here comes the, are you going to put that up now?
Just the results.
Okay.
Yeah, it was useful. It seems useful to 100%. That's really gratifying. And interested in more events, then certainly we got 97%. So there will be more events. Watch this space. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you. Well, the night is a bit short, and obviously we've got a wonderful audience. And I'm very pleased that we made the numbers. However, that creates its own problems. You will be able to ask questions later, because if you go onto the website for Rotary Fellowship, you will be able to see there a place where you can pose more questions and get the answers back, not only to your questions, but to everybody else's. But right now, we'd like some live questions. We've got half an hour. We can have those questions in. Because there are so many of you, we need to have something that gives you all an opportunity and to actually make it real. First of all, you only raise your virtual hands and I will take you in turn. You will only have time, a few seconds, to ask one question only. This is not a conversation. Okay, so fabulous audience, I'm going to bring you in one by one and then ask our good speakers to give you an answer within about a minute. So I'm looking for some hands in the air, and your virtual hand is found at the bottom of the screen in the area where it says raise hand. Great. First of all, Leanne, you have a question. Who is it for?
Hey.
Okay, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure who this is for. I would like to know, in many districts I've discovered, e-clubs are not taken seriously. Does anybody have any advice on how we can integrate more with districts who are a bit averse to e-clubs?
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Leanne.
you.
I don't know who I should ask that question to, really.
I'm
I
happy
can
to
answer,
answer,
I can
Brian.
answer that. I can answer that, Brian, as
I was
a
going to
person
say
who
Martin
started.
would probably be the best person.
Yeah, yeah. Having started about 6 e-clubs now, I agree with you. In the early days, we certainly have come across a number of people who were naysayers. As I said, as I said in my talk, COVID was the best thing since sliced bread, really, for e-clubs, because several, the Emperor's New Clothes and all that. How do you deal with people like that? One of the things you can do is what we did was we collected our stories. So create and build a storybook. That's how I would actually approach it. And you can then share the stories. As I said to you, I got asked 3 questions. How do you do fellowship? How do you do projects? And what real club do you belong to? Well, I know what real club I belong to. How I do projects, we can talk about our projects forevermore. But your storybook will give you about how do you share things as an e-club. And I think that would be my take for it. Okay, I think, is that a minute?
That's a minute. Yeah, thanks, Martin.
Brian, can I add a couple of lines to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Quickly.
you.
What did you want to add?
I just wanted to say that one thing that we've done in District 1320, we have created a digital area, a dedicated digital area with a dedicated assistant governor to support all clubs that are that have an e-form, whether it is an e-club or whether it is a passport club or whether it is a direct membership, and that gives the e-club and its members a direct voice within the district management team.
Okay, next questioner, please. I'm looking for a virtual hand going up.
They're all getting hungry, I think.
Oh, there must be. Lily.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming in there. Lily, give me your question, please.
Oh, yeah, my question is, would you anticipate the next meeting might ever discuss e-clubs raising funds together?
And who is that question for?
Anybody, really. The whole membership. Would there be fun, like we do polio? Could there be something which would give us standing amongst the land-based clubs where, as a virtual group, we are seen to have quite good fundraising capacity?
I'm going to put that to somebody who's in an e-club who's done some very interesting things. Rushton, why don't you come in and tell us what you think about that?
Sure. Let me start my timer. So the idea that we should measure clubs by fundraising is something that's out there, and I think it's actually problematic. That what's much more important is impact, and that if we are able to tell our stories about how Rotarians were engaged and excited about contributing things, I don't think the actual fundraising numbers matter as much. That said, if you can get your members excited about a story and connecting with each other around the world to take part and show that you are drawing from generous people all over the planet, I think that would be interesting to some.
Thanks, Rushton. And the next question I will take from Alan. What is your question? You're unmuted.
Okay. My question is for Martin. You were saying we have to embrace technology. So my question indeed is, do we have clubs or districts that are already experimenting or working with artificial intelligence? Not in the chat GTP questions like how do I set up a fundraising or what projects should I run in that area? But for instance, using AI to evaluate a global grant and saying in that specific area of the global grants, I upload a document specifying all the parameters that are needed to be positively fulfilled versus my candidate global grant. So I'm looking for clubs or districts who are working with that already.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Interesting question. Yeah, embracing technology includes AI and also virtual reality. There are RI has actually experimented with virtual reality, so I won't talk about that specifically. But your AI question is quite interesting because AI can help, and I know several clubs that actually do use it. I personally have got an interest in studying AI at the moment, but there is, I believe, a club that's just started, which is actually an e-club of artificial intelligence. There's another one which is of sort of the virtual world. So we need to search for those and get them maybe on to talk about it another time. The dangers are that the jury's still out in some areas with regard to I would not recommend that you wholly use AI to evaluate these global grants, etc. But you can use it to enhance it. I did an experiment actually when the deep chat, was it, or something, the Chinese one came out, and I compared the Chinese one with the chat GTP and with Gemini, and it was interesting that the one that came out the best was actually the Chinese one, because it gave I asked to say, how do you explain foundation to a new member? And it came up with a total strategy on how to do it. having read through it in all detail, then I would say it is probably too much information. So beware. That's all I would say.
Thanks, Martin. Huda, can you come in?
Yes.
All right. Who
Good
is it you'd like to ask a question?
Good evening. Thank you so much. My question is, I have several friends and would like to set up an eClub. The question is, which jurisdiction, district, everything that is concerning all the conditions in regards to bank account, etc. How is this when we are talking about an eClub? Because the physical club is different than an eClub. And this is really very important. Thank you so much.
Just as a matter of interest, can I ask you what jurisdiction you're in anyway?
Right now, I'm based Limitrof, Monaco, in France, southern France, and I have all my friends. They are between Switzerland, Monaco, and southern France.
Okay, then in that
Narek.
case, Narek. Yeah.
Happy to answer as much as I can, because that really depends on your jurisdiction and the procedures and the policies that are there. However, any eClub is a fully chartered club that has the same institutional rights. You can appoint your treasurer, you can appoint your president, you can appoint your secretary, and that the minutes that you produce should be enough for any institution like a bank to accept you as a chartered body. If you are having any issues, my guess is that you need to approach the district to provide you with a supporting letter to process that. Of course, we can take this subject of the meeting and we can discuss details, but that's my general response at this stage.
Okay.
I think Tariq Durrani has his hands up.
Yeah, but let Brian do it.
Yeah.
Who had a hand?
Tariq.
Oh
no, Murad was next, actually. No,
yeah, I'm going to say, don't take him out of order, please.
Yeah,
Murad, would you go ahead with your question, please?
Okay, thank you for letting us join the meeting. And my question is, I am currently a Peace Fellow. And as you know, by the end of the Peace Fellowship, we should implement a social change initiative. But unfortunately, we're still struggling with the funding of our social change initiatives. How can we apply for the funding, for the Rotary funding? Or are we eligible to apply for the Rotary funding?
Okay, take it back, Narek.
Yes, absolutely. You are a fully constituted club, and as a club, you are entitled, like any other club, to engage with district, to engage with global grants, to receive district grants. There is no difference between an eClub and a conventional club when it comes to the constitution. As long as you are chartered, there is no difference. You have the full rights, and if not, you can appeal to RI, and you can appeal to district, and you can appeal to your zone director if that is the case.
Thank you very much. Manoj, good evening.
Good evening.
What is your question?
Congratulations to everybody who participated. My question is, I started as an interactor at the age of 16, and I've been with Rotary 56 years. Why is Interact and the feed line for young children to come into Rotary at the earliest opportunity not encouraged, not recognized, not practiced? And if I'm a poor example of that, then I think that we should stop it. Otherwise, we should really carry on. And I just want to know how we're going to make a pathway that is inclusive of every opportunity, because there is no clear pathway, and the structures at the moment are the biggest barrier to anybody wanting to contribute to Rotary.
Okay, I was going to ask Brian King to pop in. Brian, can you give us your thoughts on that?
Sure. Thank you for the question and the observation. This is something that Rotary International is looking very closely at. We do see a very clear journey, right? It's not always direct, but from Interact to university-based Rotaract to community-based Rotaract to Rotary Club membership. Now, not everyone will follow that journey step by step, but it was a very clear progression, and we really want to promote and embrace that. We encourage districts to really strengthen their youth programming offerings through not just Interact, but also Rotary Youth Leadership Awards and Youth Exchange, ensuring that every district has the proper youth protection practices in place so that we can develop really meaningful relationships with the next generation of leaders. And in the meantime, also developing really meaningful relationships with their parents and guardians who may wish to be a participant of Rotary as well. So we hear you. We're working on this. One of the biggest challenges is youth protection. We take it very seriously. Then also our ability to actually collect the data on youth. These are the two areas where Rotary International is currently focused.
Thanks, Brian. Tariq, you want to come join us and ask a question?
Well, yeah, but thank you. It's actually a comment. I raised my hand when Lily spoke because I think she raised a very important point. And that was, as far as I can understand, how can eClubs collaborate together? And that's a really important topic. And I would even suggest that Martin and others should get together to think in terms of another such workshop where we would focus on how eClubs could work together towards service projects or collaboration or really supporting local clubs. So that's a very important topic. We should bear that in mind. And maybe that should be one of the follow-ups from this workshop.
You were muted. Not again. You were muted.
Thanks, Tariq. Yeah. Anyone else got some questions? I'm very quiet. Okay. In that case, I am ready to pass over. And in this particular case, before we actually stop this thing, I think we can safely say we can pass over to the next stage.
Narek.
Right. Brian, thank you for facilitating the Q&A session. I think there was some great questions there, and I hope the answers were satisfactory. Although we labeled it as a quick fire Q&A session, I think there was some great questions. And please remember that you still have the opportunity to connect through Martin, Brocklebank, and Brian, and through the Rotarian eClub Fellowship to ask any other questions, and we will be able to redirect your questions to the right people, to the right references, and to the authorities on certain questions in order to come back to you with satisfactory answers. Now, all that remains for me, ladies and gentlemen, to as we bring this conference to a close, I would like to genuinely extend my deepest gratitude to everyone